Let's do it live on a Championship Friday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. Merely Bo, the great Z. How you living, buddy?
I'm great. Feel excited. It's a nice Friday.
Gorgeous out there.
Yeah.
Approaching in the 50s.
Gibbe, where? Let me get for Gibbe. Gibbe, huge P.
Gibbe.
We've got Adam Teicher joining us. We got Omar Ruiz. People who are embedded.
They're embedded
with
behind
some of the
enemy
Final
lines.
Four. We don't have any enemies now, do we?
I think the Ravens.
Fair.
We can't have them win at a Super Bowl, can we?
Yeah, but so with Teicher,
it's home team.
We're on behind friendly
They're allies.
lines.
They're allies. Yeah.
The enemy,
do you think that there
enemy
is
of my enemy is my friend, Bo?
Do you think that there is vitriol? Do you think the fan base feels how I do about Baltimore? And I like all the people individually at Baltimore. I think, we love Monken, obviously. He's a great guy.
Oh, yeah.
We knew that the success would come. I've got no
like
problem with
Monken.
Lamar, and Odell was great when he was here.
I enjoyed Odell while he was here. For sure.
But,
Sasha,
do you have
Simone?
well, that's probably where it stops.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Actually, you have to pay this.
We were out the door.
Do we?
On the street. We're like, what are you talking
We already
about?
called valet. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Funny joke. Haha.
Yeah, right. I'm sure we do. No, actually, and it's substantial.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. So this wasn't the paying
I
off
will
of a
say-
bet. This was fun coupons?
I will say bad
For
idea
Simone?
on their part, though, because it could have been a lot of really good free advertising for a business that ultimately went under.
Fact.
And instead,
That's true.
they got nothing.
They got nothing. No. That was wild. He used a make good, right? He used a make good or like a gift card to pay off a bet. Yeah, that's what I thought.
But that only covered three seafood towers.
33% of the bill. Yeah.
Everything after the seafood tower, not.
Although we're led to believe
All.
All.
Well, that was the stipulation.
And by the way, we were also led to believe, because it's not like we were going to stick him with that entirely. We were led to believe that was all part of the deal, that it was all going to be taken care of as that was part of it. I didn't think he was. I wasn't trying to run up $1,000 restaurant bill on him.
We
didn't order the seafood towers.
No, we didn't order that.
We didn't order anything.
We ordered
our
the meals.
Steaks.
Yeah, the meals we ordered. But then we kept getting they had that side that was like a dessert that we kept getting. And I'm like, I don't even want that.
He was like, you got to get this.
Yeah.
Even he himself was saying,
you got to get this.
We got to get this.
Yeah, it's a free country. I can order whatever I want.
Yeah.
Now I really want the Chiefs to win.
Yeah,
do you think that do you think that the fan base roots against Baltimore?
Yes.
That's what I think too. You would all be Chiefs fans, wouldn't you, this weekend?
Yes.
You don't want to as tired as you are of the Mahomes, all the championships and all of that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's still a no-brainer.
I think that the easy solution is whoever comes out of the NFC. That's who you're rooting for.
Yeah.
But no, I think so. I think if it was Steelers versus Ravens, people would probably be rooting for the Ravens.
Yeah, probably.
Let's just not even have those type of scenarios.
Yeah, we don't need that.
We're far from that right now.
We don't need that. Bengals, Ravens.
I feel like people kind of got into the Bengals a little bit. We're like, oh, it's Ohio, and Burrow's cool. He went to Ohio State for a little bit from Ohio.
Yeah, so people would be more open to that than they would be.
I think
the
the hierarchy of hate.
That's what I want.
Is Steelers, Ravens, Bengals.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
The HOH.
I like it. What is your favorite championship weekend memory in your life? Have you ever been to one in person?
No.
I haven't either.
Never been to one in person.
Never been to an NFC or AFC championship
Probably.
I have.
He has.
Of course.
Not great. Horse face.
Yeah.
Of course.
The drive?
Oh, yeah.
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 I was a wee lad, but probably the catch.
You were at that one?
No, but it's my
okay.
championship.
Okay, so you do remember that one well.
Because that was my first. I don't remember. I mean, I remember it well as an after the fact and knowing that they won. That was amazing.
Yeah,
and I have a signed picture of the catch in my basement.
Awesome. So cool. The in our formidable age, the NFC Championship game was the Super Bowl.
Yeah, for the entire 80s.
Yeah, through the early 90s, into the mid 90s, all the way to until Elway wins it with the Broncos. From that point until the Raiders
in 83.
Yeah,
83.
All NFC.
Yeah.
And it really, and honestly, in most of those years, the Super Bowl was really lopsided. It was sacrificial lamb to slaughter. I mean, there were a ton of
the
close
Bills game.
Bears beat down the Redskins beat down twice. They beat down the Broncos once, and they beat down the Bills. Washington did. Washington got the Bills in 92? Or was it 93 they got the Bills?
Niners smoked the Broncos.
Niners smoked the Broncos. Niners had a close game with the Bengals.
Yep.
The Giants had a close game with the Bills, but smoked the Broncos.
Wide right.
The Cowboys had
Siciliano?
one close game with the Bills, but the rest were all slumpings.
Yes.
Steve Young, monkey off his back in 94.
Slumping.
Slumping.
USA.
95 against the Steelers, the Cowboys, slumping. I mean, it was a steady diet.
Slumps.
Beatdowns. Just beat. It's just come get some.
Wasn't there a Patriots?
Packers beat down.
Patriots, yeah.
That would have been 96.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bears Patriots.
That's 46-10.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the largest margin until the Broncos got taken care of 55-10 a couple of years later.
By who was the quarterback of that team?
Joseph Leonardo, Montana.
That's right.
The 86 Giants was close. But I mean,
Is that really his middle name?
Oh, God, good Lord, I have no idea.
I was going to say, I've never heard that.
Very much
rattled that off.
Joseph Leonardo
in my life. Very much believable.
That was vintage Pedro.
It could be.
Hold on, I'm going to find out. That was
Clifford is his middle name.
Clifford. Pretty good.
The Big Red Dog.
Joe Cliff.
Do you guys even know about Clifford the Big Red Dog in there? Uno and Griff?
Uno does.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right, good.
Yeah, that was my childhood.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Now it's Bluey. The boys love the little Bootsy loves the Bluey.
Grandbaby
loves
Bluey.
Bluey.
We're going to have a
great.
little Bluey marathon
It's
tonight.
great. They're great. And they're fun for you.
Yeah, there's a
It's
little
good
adult
writing.
humor
Yeah.
in there a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm
the
like,
dad's
all
great.
right, I got this.
Yeah, Bootsy used to call me Big Fella because Bluey calls his dad Big Fella.
Very nice.
Yeah, it was very good.
Fella.
Yeah, so that was it. The NFC Championship game was the Super Bowl. That was the game you watched. It was the Niners were kind of a constant, but it was a rotation of them and the Giants and the Redskins, and then the Cowboys later. But it was those teams played all the time. The Bears had that run in '85. They played for the NFC Championship game, I think, in '84, and then they lost to the Niners. '85 they won it, but they didn't have the consistency. Like the Giants were always there.
So it went from the 80. We had it exactly right. From the 83 season to the 97 season, all NFC.
Yeah.
And okay, so
And then it was a wild upset in '97 because that Packers team was going for back-to-backs, and that's the Elway twirl in the air.
Yep.
And then the next year, Minnesota is 15-1, and Anderson misses the field goal.
And he hadn't missed all year.
Had not missed all year. And
The
then
Dirty
that
Birds.
Dirty Birds team, which was they just were not on the level.
Chris Chandler.
Like if you could have, everybody wanted to see that Vikings team play the Broncos. That's the team you wanted.
All right, so just to go through, because you had all of these,
but
I'm going to go just game by game. 38-16 Niners-Dolphins. Bears 46-10 Patriots. 39-20 Giants-Broncos. 42-10 Redskins-Broncos. So you did not have a good Super Bowl.
No, that's what I'm saying.
And the Raiders slumped the Redskins the year before that, 38-9. Redskins beat the Dolphins. So Niners-Bengals, the first one, 81, was 26-21. So that is a one-touchdown game. The next one-touchdown game is Niners-Bengals again.
What's after 42-10? That's Redskins-Broncos. Then what?
Niners-Bengals again, 2016.
26-6.
Then Niners slump town, 55-10.
Yep.
Giants 2019, Norwood wide to the right.
Yep.
Redskins 37-24, Bills. Cowboys 52-17, Bills.
Jeez.
Cowboys 30-13, Bills.
Oh, my gosh.
Niners 49-26, Chargers. Cowboys 27-17, Steelers. That's Larry Brown picking off Neil
MVP.
O'Donnell.
Yep.
Green Bay Packers 35-21 over the Patriots, and then Broncos 31-24. So the only two games that were one possession games in that entire 3 games that were one possession games in that entire period were Giants Bills 2019, Niners 2016. Actually, those are only 2 because the other one that was a one possession game was before the Raiders one, which was after the 1981
They're
season.
2 one-possession Super Bowls. So you would go as a kid, you'd go to the championship game in the NFC, and you'd go, well, winner here's winning, but by 1,000. So when you would see like Phil Simms against Montana, or you would see Young against Aikman, or you would see those constants, whoever Washington had a revolving door of quarterbacks. They won Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks during that time, with Rippon and Doug Williams and Joe Theismann. They had 3 different quarterbacks during that time with Gibbs. But it was always that was the game. That was it. That was the game. And then you had this Brady-Montana thing that happened with Roethlisberger mixed in there, and the AFC flipped it in the 2000s, completely flipped it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a Saints, there's a Seahawks, and Eagles, but I mean, it's the Rams recently. But if you think of the Brady Manning era, when they start winning Super Bowls, it's those two and Roethlisberger.
Well, once they won in 90, after the 97 season, once Denver won, it went Denver, Rams, Ravens, New England, Bucks, New England, Pittsburgh, Indy. So NFC won 2 from 97 to 2006. Giants, Steelers, Saints, Packers, Giants, Ravens, Seahawks, then Patriots, Broncos, Patriots, Eagles, Patriots, Chiefs, Bucks, Rams, Chiefs. And the last 2 have been 3-point games.
We had good. I mean, the NFL has what it's always wanted, which is true parity in the sport. In the 2000s.
And didn't
you finally got it?
Am I correct? They announced, isn't Bill Vinovich doing the Super Bowl?
He is.
They announced it. So Bill Vinovich this will be his 3rd Super Bowl.
Okay.
In the first one, Patriots beat the Seahawks 28-24. In the second one, the Chiefs beat the Niners 31-20. So Bill Vinovich has not seen an NFC team win a Super Bowl yet.
Maybe something to pay attention to there.
Well, I was hit by conspiracy theories from, I think, my kids that they're hearing that the league really wants the Chiefs to win it.
Your kids have become Twitter.
So they've found, I think it was Warren Sharp actually, that the official assigned to the AFC Championship game has the highest winning percentage for road teams of any official by a wide margin.
Yeah. The NFL doesn't matter
care at all.
There's going to be 100 million people watching, regardless of who's in a luxury box.
So that I can get some tweets about it.
Irregardless. Hot Topics today presented by Vivid Seats, official fan experience partner, your Cleveland Browns. Mary Kay reported that we should expect Kellen Moore to interview today for the reported opening at offensive coordinator.
These need to be called the reportedly hot topics of the day.
Reportedly hot topics of the day. Yeah, reportedly. The second reportedly hot topic of the day is reportedly the Browns have now reportedly interviewed Andy Dickerson, Ken Dorsey, Gerard Johnson, Brian Johnson, Kellen Moore for their offensive coordinator job that is reportedly available.
Oh, no, you're really killing it.
I added some in there.
That's good.
So there you go. This one this is just straight out. You don't have to reportedly. Amari Cooper going to no longer compete in the Pro Bowl. He'll be replaced by Stephon Diggs. Do both of them get credit for being Pro Bowlers?
Yes.
So alternates get credit and the guy gets credit.
Stephon Diggs. Yeah. Shouldn't,
no.
The guy averaged 40 yards a game the last 10 of the season.
Yeah. What do you got there?
I think it's a blood orange. I'm excited to kind of get it to rip
Initially,
into this thing.
from a distance, out of the corner of my eye, I thought it was an apple of some sort because it was mostly the red side up.
Yeah.
And then as you were jostling with it, I noticed the dimples of an orange. And I'm
excited to see what
the
this
blooded
looks like
nature
in the
of it.
rig.
Also, an incredible risk out of you. It's a risky proposition because you know that it's going to be very difficult to eat that without the juices being emitted all over your hands, at which point you will need to have a wet nap to clean them. You can't dry a sticky cleanup. You know what I mean?
You're not wrong.
I look forward to watching you eat
So
it.
I'm in all black today. Just in case.
Smart, just in case it gets loose.
This thing gets loose, yeah.
It could. A blood orange. It's very exciting. Do you think we'll ever have – what are we doing here? When are we going to have this stuff done? We got people hiring people left and right. We got press conferences are happening all over. Brian Callahan's doing radio interviews in Nashville. We got people being
Any
hired
more
and fired.
movement on that? Any more?
With Bill?
Yeah.
Nothing. I haven't even reportedly seen anything that I could report about being reportedly. I don't know. So
You said it, man.
You said it, man.
I think you got the reports covered.
I think we do. I think that's it. So
I
see.
think eventually we're going to
Well, you got to play a football game in September of 2024. At that point, you'll have a coaching staff.
I believe we're going to know once the OC's hired. I think then everything else is going to be a part of that announcement. Because, supposedly or reportedly, Deuce is, done, and so is Tommy Reese.
Reportedly that they are reportedly they have been hired to fill reported vacancies reportedly.
That's right.
There you go.
There it is.
All right. Adam Teicher going to join us coming up next. Is that correct?
That's not reportedly. That's
happening.
That's happening.
Yeah, and then Omar Ruiz is going to happen. We've got some higher lowers.
We got a Griff fact of the day.
He's got one. He's one up on you. He got a net one.
On me?
Yeah, on over-unders. You're up on him by one.
That's right, baby.
You're back.
That's right.
We're back. So we got
we
the
have
over-unders.
2 weeks.
Got 2 weeks left.
There's a new sheriff in town, boys. And it's the same
Wait a minute.
sheriff.
Hold on. There's always been one sheriff. I'm just trying to one day get to that level where I can win it.
You're a great deputy, though.
I don't think you're part of the law. I think you're more like Billy the Kid.
He is lawless.
No, you're Billy the Kid.
I am. Thank you.
You answer to no one.
I was going to say,
Thank you.
like, rules don't apply to Zagura.
No, of course not.
Like, in no way, shape, or form does any rule
There's no oversight.
apply to Zagura.
There's no oversight.
All right. So there was a day.
The guy's peerless.
There was a day. It was Tuesday. When you were otherwise disposed, Gibbe.
Yeah.
We were pontificating about whether or not, Bill Callahan and Brian Callahan would work together, and if you were Brian Callahan, would you want your dad to work for you? And then it translated to us.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I was like, if my dad was running the board in here and whatever. And he goes, what would that even be like? I'm like, it would be just like Gibbe, giving me grief, trying to
undermine you.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Bo agreed with me. Like, the rules don't apply.
Oh, no, he's Billy the Kid.
Yes.
But I also agree working with Pedro would be a lot like working with you.
I've already got it.
Absolutely.
I've got it minus the mustache.
You're doing it. Yeah.
I love that man.
Yeah.
I'm going to get my way. I'm going to work my way into that will.
I love that, man. Oh, God. So good. All right, those are your Hot Topics today, presented by Vivid Seats, official fan experience partner of your Cleveland Browns. Adam Teicher going to join us on the Chiefs side of things coming up next. Get you set for the AFC Championship game. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. And Bo here for my great friends at Jim Beam. And what do sports and Jim Beam have in common? Both better when enjoyed with others. So grab a bottle, gather your friends, and enjoy the game. Because with Jim Beam, when you come as fans, you leave as family. Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Copyright 2024, James B. Beam Distilling Company.
Nice.
Claremont, Kentucky. Drink it smart. As we head out on the Twisted Tea Hotline, conversation with a great friend of the program, one of the best in the business, ESPN NFL Nation Chiefs reporter Adam Teicher joins us. AFC Championship game set for Sunday. Sixth straight for that operation, Adam. It's been an incredible run. This is probably the most vulnerable the Chiefs have been in the regular season. They didn't look at last week. What do you make of this team as they head into Sunday?
Yeah, I would agree that this is probably the most vulnerable of the Chiefs teams that have gone to AFC Championship games. But, here they are, and I think they're playing better, at least offensively, than they have all season long. They had a season-high 8 plays of 20 yards or more, and that's a big deal. This team wasn't getting big plays most of the season, and they got them against Buffalo when they really needed them. So, I don't think playing on the road is a real obstacle for the Chiefs. They've been I can make you a strong case. They've been a better team on the road since Andy Reid has been their head coach. They're just remarkably efficient out of town, and they seem to just play free last week. They were the underdogs. They're playing on the road. I think they kind of enjoyed that scenario. So, hey, I feel like if Baltimore is going to win the game on Sunday, it's not because they're playing it in Baltimore. They would have won here too. So just going to be an interesting game for sure.
How did this Chiefs team go from the team that lost to the Raiders in a game in which the Raiders did not complete a pass after the first quarter in Kansas City, which is still incomprehensible to say all of those things out loud together, to being the team that goes into Buffalo in, I think, probably from the Buffalo standpoint, the biggest game they've had in forever, and beats them.
Yeah, it was. It's crazy how bad the Chiefs were that day on the Christmas Day game against the Raiders. They gave up touchdowns on back-to-back scrimmage plays on defense or on offense.
Right.
The Raiders scored on back-to-back plays on defense, and that was about as ugly as you could ever imagine a Pat Mahomes team playing. But the Chiefs were that bad. But I think, looking back on it now, maybe that was the best thing to happen to the Chiefs. That was sort of a wake-up call. They've played a lot more efficiently since then. That was kind of the bottom for them, and they've actually really improved since then, particularly on offense. So maybe that was kind of the wake-up call they needed.
It's one of those things that, and I do this thing on the show where I every year when we start the season, I pick them to win the Super Bowl, I pick Mahomes to win the MVP since he did it. It just seems like the smartest thing, and every year they do it. It's like a safe bet. And you look down in Buffalo, and I know that the kick misses, but Adam, I'm looking, I'm going, even if they make it, so what? Like, Mahomes is going to go score. It's an incredible thing. His clutch meter in the postseason, he is as great as he's been in the regular season. He's a multiple-time MVP. His postseason play is otherworldly. What is it like to have a front seat for this?
Yeah, it is dramatic, and I agree. I don't think that game was defined by the missed field goal. I do think the Chiefs had like a minute 40 and 2 timeouts left. I think they would have gone down there and gotten a kick of their own to win the game. So, yeah, I agree. It's just been amazing. He just has another gear when it gets to the postseason, these big games, and he relishes these matchups against guys like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, and it really is truly amazing. I think, I talked a minute ago about the Chiefs really enjoying going on the road. I think it was him in particular. That's one thing that he hadn't done. That's one box he hadn't checked is a road playoff game and a road playoff win. And, I think maybe there were some guys that sort of took these suggestions that, well, the Chiefs haven't done it on the road. They've never played a playoff game on the road, and how are they going to handle this? I think they sort of took those comments as suggestions that maybe their success the last few years in the playoffs has been due to just the fact they're playing in Kansas City all the time, and I think they took offense to that. So, and certainly he's one of them. So it has been a dramatic thing to see, no doubt.
I mean, in reality, kind of what you said, Bo, and I had written this down, and you answered some of this, was I felt like Mahomes actually enjoyed being doubted and being told you're the underdog, and then going and winning and, being like, well, this is what you wanted. You got it. Buffalo Bills, you asked for it, you got it.
Yeah.
I thought that was incredible. And you talk about playoffs and turning it up, and I think it would be, and maybe your closer situation might be unfair to say, but look, it feels like on some level, Father Time has caught up with Travis Kelce a little bit. First ballot Hall of Famer this season, though, by what he had done previously, especially kind of down the stretch, was not what we were accustomed to from Travis Kelce from a production standpoint. Well, getting to the playoffs, 75, 2 touchdowns, no problem, right back. Were you surprised by how easily he became the man again? Not to quote a Taylor Swift song, but how he became the man?
No, not so much, just because hey, he's 34, and I would agree he's not the same guy he was a couple of years ago, but opponents had really taken to trying to eliminate him as the Mahomes' favorite guy, and they were able to do that to some extent because the Chiefs have just been so weak at wide receiver. I think the opponents were sort of saying, hey, we're not going to let Travis Kelce beat us. We'll let Marquez Valdez-Scantling or Justin Watson or one of their wide receivers try to beat us, and Buffalo didn't do that as much. They played a lot of zone, and that's where Kelce can really excel. So it's one of those deals where he did rise to the moment, but I think the way the Bills played it was a little bit different as well.
It's interesting to watch Isaiah Pacheco and what he's been in his early career in Kansas City, and when he was out, it was noticeable. How critical will he be on Sunday in Baltimore for the balance? And he's just turned into a really good player.
Yeah, he's one of the Chiefs' key guys, and there's no way around it. The Chiefs lost to the Bills in December at Arrowhead, and he didn't play, and that was, to me, maybe the biggest difference in the game on Sunday, and why it turned out differently as he played. He just gives the Chiefs a different energy. He runs. He's such a physical runner, and I think everybody gets picked up on the offensive side, at least, by how he runs the ball and what he's capable of. So. No doubt he's a key guy. He missed a couple days of practice this week, but he's back out there right now. So that's a pretty good sign that he's going to be ready on Sunday.
What is the state of this team in terms of its health going into this game? I know that Tooney and Willie Gay seem to be a little bit nicked up. Will they be available?
Yeah, it doesn't look like Tooney's going to play. He was not out of practice today. Willie Gay, I'd say, is probably 50-50. So, yeah, they're not in great shape physically. They've had a pretty good fortune with injuries this year, but not now. And so they picked a bad time for this. But, they do have some depth, and they might be able to handle this all right, but they Willie Gay and Derek Nottie, one of their defensive tackles, he won't play. Gay is maybe 50-50. Tooney won't play. I don't know how healthy Pacheco is, but he's going to play, it looks like. So, they're banged up a little bit, no doubt.
And Gay, it feels like maybe in this game in particular, would have a very big role to play, right? Spying Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
How does that, in your opinion, would it affect things there and trying to slow down what has been under Todd Monken's guidance and the way that, Lamar Jackson's likely the MVP, an offense that has been different than what we've seen in the past, but incredibly effective for the Baltimore Ravens?
Yeah, not having Willie Gay, that's not ideal for the Chiefs. If he doesn't play or he can't play or can't be effective when he does go out there because he's their most athletic linebacker, and that's the logical guy to help out against Lamar Jackson and when he leaks out of the pocket. So I don't know. We'll see how the Chiefs handle it and whether he can play. The Chiefs do have some depth at linebacker. They got Drew Tranquil, who's done a nice job filling in for him, but he's not Willie Gay. So that is a problem for the Chiefs if they can't play.
conventional thought, obvious. I'm certain, but it does feel to me like the Chiefs could win a couple of different ways. They could win in a couple of different styles in Baltimore. I kind of get the feeling, and maybe feel different about this, Adam, that for the Baltimore perspective, I just don't know. We haven't seen Baltimore chase somebody down yet. And if Kansas City gets off to a fast start, I'm not sure that they have the ability to do that. This is obviously a different Ravens team with Monken. We knew him well here. Do you agree with that, or what is the script that Kansas City prefers Sunday?
Well, playing from ahead is always a good idea. But I tell you what, I was really impressed with the Chiefs last week. They never had the ball when the game was either tied or in the lead until the fourth quarter last week. They did such an efficient job offensively, but they were always behind. I mean, Buffalo got the opening kickoff, went down and kicked the field goal, and kept scoring, really. And so the Chiefs were having to keep up with the Bills, and so they did a nice job that way. So I don't know if falling behind is going to be a huge, an obstacle the Chiefs couldn't overcome, but that's not ideal for them. Here's what I think the key to the game is. The Chiefs led the league in drop passes this year. They were incredibly sloppy offensively. They dropped a lot of passes. They were second in the league in offensive penalties, and they were, I think, 8th in turnovers. So they were really sloppy offensively, not so much against the Bills. So if the Chiefs can play a clean game offensively in that regard, drop passes, penalties, turnovers, I think they've got a good shot to win this game. That, to me, is what I'm looking for. But if they're going to be turning it over and playing sloppy like they have for a lot of this, for a lot of the season, then this is going to be a lot for them to overcome.
It's going to be a good one. What's your gut tell you? Who gets this one done?
Well, I like, as I mentioned a minute ago, I like the Chiefs' chances if they can stay clean. If they can avoid the turnovers, avoid the drop passes. It's been difficult for them to overcome that kind of stuff this year. So I think it's going to be a close, competitive game either way. I do kind of like the Chiefs to win, but just because of Mahomes. But it wouldn't surprise me to see it go the other way, and I think it will go the other way if, again, the Chiefs are back to their old habits here.
It starts to get pretty serious if they get into another Super Bowl here. I mean, he's already on a ridiculous track. But him and Reed, I mean, this is Montana Walsh stuff. It's Brady Belichick stuff. If they can get back at him, it's a stunning thing this early in his career where he's at.
Yeah, it would be 4 out of 5 if they can win on Sunday. But
yeah.
So that would be incredible. But a lot of work to do before they get there.
It certainly is. Thank you for lending us some of your perspective today, my friend. We appreciate you a great deal.
Hey, anytime, guys.
All right, that's Adam Teicher, ESPN NFL Nation's Chiefs reporter, joining the program on the Twisted Tea Hotline, brought to you by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted, Cleveland. It's interesting that I'm not surprised by this, but I spoke to Adam earlier this week in the morning, and the question you asked about the Raiders was worded almost identically by me in my conversation with him. I think it was Tuesday, almost to the word.
Put yours up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Both of us.
That's right. Almost exact same wording. So yeah, that was good. It's a hell of a thing because it's
unbelievable.
That game, I remember it in the scores.
It was such a public game
for sure, and it was. I remember we did it in the scores. We're like slump town.
Yeah,
come on, beat down. Let's go on to the next. Chiefs by $1 billion, and you watch the game. You're going, wait a second, you just lost. They didn't complete a forward pass
after the first quarter.
What are we
doing?
doing?
That's the thing. It's not just that they lost.
No,
like you can. It wasn't a normal game.
Did not complete a forward pass
for 3 quarters. Second, third, and fourth.
Yeah. It's
inconceivable.
The thing with it is inconceivable. The thing with him, it is just such. It has the feeling of how it felt. I'm sure with whether it was Brady or if you go to other sports like LeBron or Jordan, like you just always have this ace up your sleeve with that kid.
Well, I wrote down Jordan. It almost kind of felt like his reaction in the locker room afterwards was very Jordan-esque, and it was almost like. You wonder maybe if subconsciously he didn't mind losing that game to the Raiders to light a fire under everybody and to paint them to when's the last time he's been able to be like, look, people don't believe in us. And now it's a perceived slight. Nobody believes in us. Let's go.
And I took that personally.
He's looking at that. Yeah, I took that personally.
We've
never seen that side of him.
Never. he has never had doubt. He was a rocket ship that first year.
Yes.
And immediately it was clear
It was the talk of the town.
that it was all of it, right? And so once that happened, it was just okay. Like I would say, pick him to win the Super Bowl, pick him to win the MVP. It's a pretty good bet every time. But he's never had that, an ability for someone to doubt. All it's been is Chiefs by $1 billion, right?
Yep.
That's what it's been. When the Bucs beat him, it's like, how? What just happened? What are we watching in that game? And so he didn't have to manufacture it. It actually was there. And I agree with you. I think he reveled in it. You saw him on the field after it was over, like going to Bills fans and all of that. Like he's never had that. He loved it.
Yeah.
He loved it. There's nothing.
When
I don't care.
when you've exhausted everything as the good guy, sometimes it's fun to be the bad guy.
Sometimes it's fun to be the heel. And there is nothing in sport, I don't care how old you are, how young you are, if you played competitive sport, there's nothing better than shutting up a loud home crowd as the visitor.
Yeah, just devastating them.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
The silence is deafening.
Yes.
All right, we've got the over-unders coming up. Coming up in the 2 o'clock hour, Omar Ruiz will join the program. He's with the Niners, right? Or he's hanging out with the Niners this week. He's embedded with the Niners. So we have that. We've got some news and notes around the league as well and the scores. Maybe even have time a couple of those mailbag questions from yesterday as well.
Bobby.
That's right. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. And be part of one of the most passionate fan bases in the NFL. Join Next Gen STM, presented by Ticketmaster, the official wait list of the Cleveland Browns. Being a Next Gen STM is the best chance to become a season ticket member in future seasons. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/NextGenSTM to reserve your spot today. There you go. And I'll do that a little bit later, the other part of that. Did you see your Roadhouse guy, right? You see the Roadhouse trailer with Gyllenhaal? Are you Roadhouse guy big or medium?
Not huge, medium. Yeah. But the one scene they showed looked like the most fake fight. It was.
I hope they go for what Roadhouse was, which was everyone felt like everyone was in on the joke on that movie. Like, I've seen Roadhouse, top 5 movies I've seen all time. It's definitely in the top 5 of movies I've seen the most in my life. If it's on, I'm in.
Yeah.
And most of it's for the unintentional comedy. But I do feel like they were in on the joke. So I hope this one doesn't take itself too seriously.
I don't know. I don't know what to think. When I saw it, I didn't get excited the way when I saw Maverick, the trailer.
Oh,
No, but I mean, same with you. Anytime Roadhouse is on, I'm like, we're going to give it a few
I
minutes.
got better to do. Let's see what Brad Wesley's up
Yep,
to.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I
think if
I'm a
Swayze
little
were
concerned
still
about it.
alive, like
Yes.
if Swayze were still alive, then you would have potentially had that Maverick feel.
Yes.
Where if he were still alive and maybe if he had turned into Brad Wesley and there was someone coming to vanquish him, that would be fun.
But did you
gotta
you
have
watched the
Ben Gazzara.
trailer though,
I did,
right? That
yeah.
that fighting like
Yeah, I don't know what they're going
that
for.
fight didn't look.
it looked
McGregor's in it though.
It looked
so he's
grossly
the big bad.
fake.
He's the bad, and they need
Who,
to,
Connor?
Yeah, but they need to have who's playing Brad Wesley? Because McGregor's playing the role of the guy who Swayze takes out at the end
He's
by the
like
lake.
Wesley's
is he
right
Terry
hand.
Funk?
right-hand man.
Is he Terry Funk?
No, Terry Funk was in it.
Yeah.
What did he say? Butt out, Dad. When Sam Elliott comes out to fight to help Dalton, butt
That's
out,
right.
Dad.
The Funker.
It's a big award-winning line.
Elliott fights him like this.
Pugil like the Miz's dad, George Mazan. That's how he fought when he got on the ring at WrestleMania.
Yeah, he'd give him a little pugilist, and then he was big with the cowboy boots to the shin.
Well,
It was a big fight move, so that was his big move.
By the way, that would be it.
It's pretty devastating.
devastating.
That'll drop you.
That'd feel awful.
Yeah, that would absolutely feel awful. They don't make those types of movies anymore, though.
No.
Those movies from that era, like
No.
Commando and all those, that were just like funny
They were
action.
just too fun.
Here's 90 minutes. Let's have a ball. They don't make those movies anymore.
Yeah, no, it's silly.
All right.
By the way,
yeah.
While we're talking movies,
Mm-hmm.
there's a rumbling.
Okay.
That there's
Yes.
now working on a script for a Top Gun follow-up.
Yeah, I saw that.
I
No.
don't like that.
No.
I don't like that.
I mean, I guess we should give them some benefit of the doubt.
They crushed that
They
one.
crushed that, but like it's perfect. There's nothing else to do. I don't need
The only thing that
I don't
you-
need Rooster. I don't need a
Well,
Rooster
no, I thought
vehicle.
Hangman was more interesting than Rooster, quite honestly.
Well,
I'll
Hangman
say.
and Rooster would come back in this, according to the reports I've read.
Here's the only thing you have to think of. Like, take it from the Hollywood perspective. Like, they are now viewing Top Gun as a world.
Yes.
Because it made over $1 billion.
Correct.
Yes.
So they are no longer viewing it as this was a fun movie from the 80s that has all this nostalgia. They're saying, how can we continue this world?
Yes.
And so what I would assume they're going to try to do, because now the question is, can you get Cruise to agree to this? Because he always wants to be the hero. Would he ever be willing to not be the lead and to not get the girl and not do all of those things? But they need, if they want it to be a world, they need to pass it on to the next group of dudes.
I just don't know that.
It wouldn't have the nostalgia.
No.
Still could be. It's a fun world,
Which
though.
one-
Like Fighter Pilot World's fun world.
It's a great world.
One of these guys, did you guys tell me a prequel? It was better off to be a prequel, like before the original.
As a general rule of thumb, I think prequels suck. I think they're really hard. I don't like the idea of I already know what's going to happen.
Right. Well, it's an origin story.
That's different, though, because in an origin story, so like Batman Begins is an origin story. Yeah, I know what happens with Batman. I know about the parents and all that, and God knows I don't ever see that again. But I don't know what's going to happen with that Batman.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was the first time we'd seen Christian Bale.
Right.
It's the first time you've seen Robert Downey and Iron Man. The first time you see Captain America. Like it was. So while I was aware of all those stories, this version of it was the first.
New, right.
So like if you go back and try to do like Maverick's dad and Tom Skerritt and Nam, if you're going to go try and do that, I don't know that first of all, I have enough connection to that. And, like, are you going to do Pete Mitchell at 12? I mean, he had to be like 20.
That would be – I actually think that could be all right because it would be a different
It would have to be totally off of the Maverick part of it, though. Like,
Right.
it would have nothing to do with that. You know what I mean?
You would just understand, like, why he idolized his dad or what,
Yeah.
And Tom Skerritt was
Awesome.
unbelievable.
Yeah. So you'd have to get somebody to play young Skerritt
right.
and young.
But it would be cool maybe to be more of a Vietnam story.
Well, I think then at least the dogfighting part of it
Would
is
be-
much more interesting than
It's
where
real
we're-
dogfighting.
where we're trending into now, where it's the way that it is.
Maybe they go all the way back to like the ancestors who turns out to have been the Red Baron.
Well, so now, I don't know that's on the right side of it, but you see what they're dropping
the Red
on
Baron,
Apple.
We're like we're way back. That's way.
Oh
back
yeah,
in
it's
the
World
day.
War I.
Yeah, right.
But
They could have immigrated to America after that. No
possible. Do you see the Band of Brothers guys are back? They're dropping the air version of the Band of Brothers Pacific. So it's
can't
Spielberg,
wait.
Hanks. It's Apple TV Plus or whatever it is. The app.
Yeah, I've got to
version.
figure that out.
Yeah. So
I'm
that
gonna have to put that on my list.
drops I think this week.
You know what I want to watch right now?
Let me tell you something else that drops this week. Your girl, Sofia Vergara,
Took the words out of my
Netflix. I don't know. I don't even care what it's about. I don't care if it's got
She
clear,
is playing
the Miami.
Cocaine Queen of Miami.
Yeah,
from
so
like
I'm in.
the heyday.
That feels so much fun to me.
It's gonna be amazing.
Like
I think
Pablo-
didn't it just drop?
It could be, yeah. But I feel like I'm into that.
I want to watch it like tomorrow.
Yeah, that's being shoved at me a lot, and I'm for it. I'm all
shove
for it.
away.
Yeah, I'm all for it. All right, time for some over-unders. Last week, Z picked up a game.
That's right.
So
okay.
with 2 weeks to play.
We had 3 that were
Does
different.
not say
if I
it was
recall.
such melancholy, by the way. About
I didn't think that there was melancholy in my
there's a little
tone.
bit of sadness there.
No, I don't think so. I will say I do have some. I would love to see the kid. I want the Super Bowl to be really tight. If you're up 3 games going into the Super Bowl, I can't have that. Like, I want the Super Bowl to have great odds and great meaning. There you go. There you go. It was an extended gaze out of you, and I did not expect that to be on the other end.
What?
There was you followed the whole way, and I thought it was going to be different than it was.
No. It wasn't
It's different. It wasn't that at all.
No.
All right, you ready? Over-unders. Z, who goes first? When you have the lead, you have to go
he
second.
goes first.
I think
No.
you go first because then
No,
you.
when I have the lead, I have to go
you
first.
go.
No, he
first.
leads off.
I have to go first on 3
All right.
out of 5.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Okay.
Number 1.
Over or under?
Over, under.
There it is.
Total yardage. Mahomes and Purdy. Over under Lamar and Goff. Zagura. Really pondering.
It's a heck of a question to kick things off.
Nice. Throw one right down the middle, boys. See if you can hit it.
Lamar and Goff.
Under.
Darn it. Yeah, Lamar and Goff. That's where I was going.
Under as well.
Next. Over, under.
It's now a 1-up lead with 9 to go.
Big picture. Gibbe, Kittle, McCaffrey, total yards. St. Brown, Gibbs, total yards.
Wow. I'm going to go St. Brown and Gibbs.
Under.
When in doubt, go with the namesake.
Your boy. Your boy. Segura.
Hoping for the quad contusion.
I talked
McCaffrey.
to myself into both of these,
Yeah.
so
you can do
I'm
that.
fine going opposite just for the fun
For
of
the
it.
fun of it.
Kittle
So,
and
over.
Yeah, I could have been very happy going with. There's Kellen Moore. Maybe not.
Or less.
Reportedly. Or less. Kellen
More or less.
Kellen
Hello.
Maybe not. Who knows? Reportedly.
Sometimes you just look up from writing some notes, and sure enough,
Somebody is.
Well,
Or report
reportedly.
Allegedly.
reportedly,
Yep.
yeah, there it is. That was just natural reaction.
Well,
What do you want to do?
Real
It's
time.
startling.
What was more startling to me about anything is like not big.
No.
Was very good at Boise State.
Very. Yeah.
Didn't he play in the league even?
Yeah. Cowboys?
Yeah.
Reportedly. Well, no, that's confirmed.
No, that's real.
That's real. Yeah.
Whether or not we saw him or not is alleged.
I think that's
Alleged.
No, I think we can.
I mean,
He's.
it wasn't intentional on your part. You were looking at notes and you look up. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
Like when Mike
right
McCarthy,
there.
there used to be a couch over there. What's happening? Okay.
How's that button holding up?
How was that?
He was
doing
just
that?
taking in the show that day.
Whoever made
for
high
like
quality
35 minutes.
manufacturer.
Half hour. The button just holding for dear life.
He was trying to challenge the great Delgado.
He was. That's right.
Oh
Next.
my God!
Over, under.
All right. Zagura.
If somebody gets that reference, they've been listening to this show for
A long time.
long.
There are a loyal audience.
Yeah.
Sacks, interceptions, and fumbles. NFC over or under AFC total. That's right.
I'm gonna go NFC.
Over. Give it.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Are you?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm in.
Over.
The NFC over.
All right. Next.
Over, under.
Gibbe.
Yes.
NFC.
These are you do a good job.
This is really good.
NFC field goals made.
Okay, now I take that back. I take that back.
Over under AFC field goals made.
AFC, baby.
Same.
Under.
Tucker.
Tucker.
All right. Under. Next.
Over, under.
Zagura. Total. Niners plus Ravens. Over under Chiefs plus Leons.
I mean,
So favorites versus dogs.
I'll take the Niners and the Ravens then.
All right, very good.
Yeah, I'm taking favorites. I got to keep pace on that.
I mean, you're building. It's a 10.5-point implied advantage.
It is an advantage.
That's
I made a late swap on that. I should have just kept it as is. I was going to go Niners and Lions total. Let's keep it that way. I'm reversing field. NFC point over under. AFC point over under. So you get Lions and Niners over under. Ravens and Chiefs.
Niners and Lions.
Really? Okay. Over.
I'm going the other one.
Okay, under. All right. There you go.
Wait. What?
You get the total points scored in the
AFC.
In the AFC, he gets total points scored in the NFC.
100%.
All right, very good. All right, there you go.
Good.
According to
Public
Las
school
Vegas.
kid. Slow.
Yep.
Sorry.
Be careful with that, though.
According to Vegas,
Be
the
careful.
AFC total is 44
Yep.
and a half. The
Yep.
NFC total is 51 and a half.
So you have the implied advantage.
Implied.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Don't
what
miss
it is.
Billy Joel and Rod Stewart together for the first time ever.
Don't.
Well, I don't know that this is true. This isn't the first time ever, right? They're going to have
They've
it's a
never
tour.
toured together.
Right, but this isn't the first time they've ever, like, that won't be the first show of the tour.
No. Like, I think this is like a one-time, like.
This is only happening in Cleveland?
Read the last sentence.
Yeah.
Don't miss Billy Joel and Rod Stewart together for the first time ever, Friday, September 13th at Cleveland Browns Stadium. Tickets go on sale Friday, February 2nd, 10 a.m. Visit clevelandbrownsstadium.com/Bill and Andy 2024 for more information.
Well, I think
it's
Billy
Billy.
and Rod.
Okay. Billy Joel and Rod Stewart together for one night only. But is that one night only in Cleveland or one? They're going to play other stops.
I don't think so.
You're telling me that they're going to perform one time. And by the way, this is awesome. But they're going to perform one time at our place, and that's it ever.
I think that might be it.
I feel like they're going to have other dates.
Okay.
I think it's gotta be
but
a tour.
I'm just telling you that I'm under the impression it's a one-time deal.
I am under the impression that it is a one night only in Cleveland.
Well,
But they will play it.
and
they
I
will
would
play
give you.
this act.
They're
not gonna do
I'm not
Madison
saying you're
Square
wrong.
Garden?
I'm under the impression like there have been no other tour dates with these two together.
Wow.
Billy Joel's got Stevie Nicks. He's been touring with Sting.
Yeah.
He's been doing all this other stuff. He has not done anything with Rod Stewart.
And so
Rod
just this
Stewart's
one
not done
night.
anything with him.
That's wild. Not Wembley. Not Madison Square
One
Garden.
night only, baby.
Let's go. That's incredible. Omar Ruiz up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Over the last 90 years, family-owned and operated Rumpke Waste Recycling has grown to become one of the largest waste recycling companies in the United States. We're proud to be the recycler of choice for the city of Cleveland. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. Now we head out on the Twisted Tea Hotline, brought to you by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted, Cleveland. Great friend of the program, longtime friend, NFL Network reporter Omar Ruiz, who is you're in the Bay Area, right, buddy? Have you been there all week?
Yeah, I got here Tuesday night. I feel like I moved into the local hotel here because I was here all last week, too, leading up to that game against the Packers. But, yeah, it's been a fun couple weeks here. And, since I saw you, Nathan, in Houston, just kind of riding this postseason wave. But all leading up to this, the NFC Championship game. And great to hear from you guys, too, by the way.
Great to talk to you. And now you're going from my team to the team of my youth, the 49ers.
That's right.
So hopefully more. You've already brought them good luck in round one. What was kind of the reaction and the vibe coming out of that game? Because it was one that the Niners did not necessarily play their best football game of the year. Brock Purdy did not play his best football game of the year. And yet at the end when they needed it, he delivered in a big way, and they got a huge, huge win. What did they kind of feel coming out of that game?
I think a huge sense of relief.
Yeah.
They know that they've been dealing with the expectations and maybe the pressure that comes with having so much talent on this team, and Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy and the MVP conversation all year long, and the nationwide debate on the abilities of Brock Purdy and sticking up for him and being so confident in his ability in that locker room, and to see it so close to all go down the drain. They're in their first postseason performance of the season. I think a lot of white knuckles on that sideline. But the fact that they were able to find a way and Purdy was able to summon his best when they needed it, kind of, restored that confidence in him, kind of restored the confidence that he'll be fine to regroup against the Lions in the NFC Championship game. And I think for whatever reasons you want to point it to, because you can point to the rain, you can point to how good the Packers ended up being on Saturday night. Maybe the rust, because a lot of those guys didn't play Week 18, and obviously they had the bye. Whatever the reason that they didn't play well, that's all out of their system. And so I think we'll get the best version of the Niners on Sunday.
One of the stats they kept throwing up there during that Packers game was that since Kyle Shanahan was the head coach, and I'm hoping I'm saying it right, was the head coach of the Niners, they had never had a comeback, a game-winning drive comeback. Or one after trailing going in the fourth quarter, something crazy like that. It was like 0-36 or whatever. Some insane numbers. That had to be a little bit of a monkey off the back for them. Is that something that has that even been brought up, or was that one of those? That's a thing that they like to talk about on TV, but nobody actually in the building cares.
No, absolutely, that was a thing, and that was my big question heading into the postseason for them, because you look at their 4 one-score games on the season. They were 0-3 in actual one-score games. The one win that they had, they were up 10 at the buzzer, and Sean McVay decides to kick a field goal against the Rams early in the season. So it technically became a one-score game, a 30-23 win over the Rams, but they were up by double digits. But in their actual tight games against the Browns there in Cleveland, you guys saw, the next week against the Vikings, and the last game of the season against the Rams, granted, a lot of the big-name players weren't playing, but they weren't either for the Rams. They all lost those games. And the stat I think you're referring to is they were 0-30 when trailing by, 4 or more in the fourth quarter, heading into the fourth quarter. And, so that was a thing. And so heading into the postseason, it was as good as Purdy has been, as much confidence as they've expressed in him, and he's delivered throughout the regular season. We've never seen this 49ers team down 5, needing a touchdown, getting the ball at their own 8, and needing a touchdown to win it and drive in the fourth quarter. We just hadn't seen it. And the only opportunity the rookie kicker, Jake Moody, had to win a game there in Cleveland, he missed.
Yeah. Yep.
And he was coming off a game against the Rams Week 18 where he missed a field goal, he missed a point after. So those big-time questions that never really were addressed in the regular season because they didn't have to. They blew away so many people, were finally answered in the postseason and obviously answered in a resounding way on that final drive by Purdy. And for him to, again, summon that up when they needed it most, when he had never done it before, given all the expectations and the pressure of the season, I think said a lot about him, said a lot about this 49er team and the makeup of the team, the kind of toughness that had never been challenged, but certainly they had in addition to all that talent.
You know, they're 7-point-plus favorites in this game. They're the team that most people identified at the beginning of the year, along with Philly, but really for most of the season, it's been Niners are coming out of the NFC. You've been there for a couple of weeks, boots on the ground. What is the sense in the Niners fan base? Is it Super Bowl or bust, win the Super Bowl or bust? Obviously, in this matchup, all the pressure's on them. Is it tangible out there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is, Super Bowl or bust. And even in the locker room, the fan base, certainly, but in the locker room itself, they've talked about that. And I know there's been a lot of, talk about, well, they have the championship window because Brock Purdy's on a rookie contract and, they have a couple more years. But you got to look at Trent Williams, at this point in his career, and Christian McCaffrey, where he's at as his, as good as he's been, for a running back, they're not playing into, 10, 11 seasons. So George Kittle has been at it for a long time, and Debo, all these guys, they play so physically hard. It's hard to sustain that style of football for year after year after year. And getting to the NFC Championship game here now 4 out of 5 years, they are not taking for granted that this is going to continue. So even though, Brock Purdy's going to be on a rookie contract, a couple more years, the sense of urgency is now. And this collection of talent that they've put together, the pressure and expectations could not be higher. And certainly it is Super Bowl or bust, and anything short of that would be a disappointment, not only for the fan base, but certainly in that locker room.
Talk with our good friend Omar Ruiz, NFL Network reporter who is embedded with the 49ers right now. I guess the one big question from a kind of a health standpoint, right, is Debo. What can you tell us about Debo Samuel? Because it's pretty clear that they are not the same team when he is not on the field.
Yeah, what a difference maker he is. And I think we saw when he left that game in Cleveland. Man, that Cleveland Browns game,
comes
what a
up a lot.
Point
That's right.
For this 49ers season.
Let's go.
There early in the year. Because, you're right. He got hurt that game. He missed most of it. They lost that game. They lost the subsequent 2 games that he missed with that shoulder injury earlier in the year. It should be noted, though, that Trent Williams was also hurt in that Cleveland game, and he missed the next 2 games, and he's as important to that offense as anyone. But certainly Debo and his presence makes a difference, not only with his actual production and the mentality, the attitude that he brings, and the swagger and the physicality, but just how defenses have to prepare, because he is such an X factor and can do so many things, impacts that way. But I'll tell you what, watching him yesterday in practice, we're only allowed to watch 15, 20 minutes or so. But he did everything that the receivers did. He was catching balls. He was running routes. He ran with the first-team offense. He even ran to the running back individual drills and took some pitches there. And he looked fine, didn't look like to be wincing in pain at all. I've seen him in the locker room the last couple of days, joking around with his teammates and acting pretty normally. As weird as it sounds, putting on clothes and seeing how he reacts to putting a shirt on and things of that nature, doesn't seem to be in any discomfort. So all signs pointing to him playing on Sunday. I think the big question is, how would that shoulder hold up to contact? And I think that's kind of where we're at with this Debo situation. And we hope to speak to him later today to find out. And we'll hear from Kyle Shanahan as well. But at this point, he looks pretty darn good out on the practice field, given his limited status. But I would expect him to play on Sunday.
And Omar, on the other side of this, of course, you have the Lions and this feel-good story of Dan Campbell and the images of Aiden Hutchinson staring at in a Ford Field and watching the people celebrate a Michigan kid. And then the other part of that, though, is the California kid who comes home. And it's interesting this week how it almost feels like people talk of Goff as like he's some sort of underdog. Like he started as a freshman at Cal. He's the number 1 pick in the draft. He's already quarterbacked in a Super Bowl. Like he's the last thing from an underdog or some side of feel-good story. But yet he also is a guy who was cast aside. And I don't even know when the Lions acquired him, pal, if they thought like this is the long-term answer or it was just somebody that had to be in the Stafford deal and kind of a bridge quarterback. And I know you've been following him since his days with the Rams. What do you make of what Goff has turned into and, in turn, what Detroit has turned into?
Well, I think going back to the Rams days, I thought he was unfairly cast off. Now, at this point, it's all justified, right, because they won a Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford. Sure. So, of course, they win that trade. But I think when he got cast aside, I think his reputation took a massive hit. And he was – I mean, you guys saw him play when he was on a roll and he was playing good. Yeah. And that's even something Kyle Shanahan said this week, but something I thought even back in 2017, 2018, when he first was paired with Sean McVay. When Goff is on, he's as accurate as anybody in football. And when you put him with a Sean McVay offense, and now you see him with a Ben Johnson offense, how effective that can be. You give him some time to throw, and he'll pick you apart, and he's certainly done that. So I think for him to come back and resurrect his career in Detroit the way the Lions as an organization have resurrected themselves to this point with Dan Campbell, how the city of Detroit and the auto industry that Campbell keeps referencing has resurrected itself. It just ties in so perfectly with that theme of Detroit and the Lions, and now Jared Goff. And for him to come back home here in the Bay Area with a spot in the Super Bowl on the line, just couldn't be more sweet of an opportunity for him. But I'm just from a personal standpoint, I'm thrilled for him. I mean, he was always a good guy with us in the media and just, so helpful in the community and all that. And he's continued that in Detroit. So it's good to see him rebound the way he has and for him to kind of, find his footing once again as an elite quarterback in the NFL.
Have you gotten along those lines any sense of, from talking to anybody, maybe even on that side? I know you're in with the Niners, but Goff, that game against Matt Stafford, when the significance of that, I don't think can be overstated. That was the trade for the present, in LA. They win a Super Bowl as a trade for the future for the Lions. Well, here they are now a couple years down the road. Stafford played great, but Goff outdueled him in that one and made a huge throw on 2nd down and 8, I think it was, on that final drive for a first down to ice that game. Have you gotten a sense of just what that one meant to him, being able to beat Matt Stafford in such a public way in Detroit and having that entire stadium chanting Goff, Goff, Goff? That was incredible.
Oh, huge. And I think to Bo's point earlier, the fact that, he was almost a throwaway and they didn't know if he would be the franchise quarterback in the future. He's had to prove himself in that regard. So to get to this point, I think we saw the appreciation that they had for that storyline when with Jared Goff, typically the quarterbacks are the last ones interviewed on the field in the game broadcast. And so he comes into the locker room and Dan Campbell gives the speech and says, you're good enough for Detroit here. And such an emotional scene in that locker room, and they all go crazy for Jared Goff. So I think they appreciate that ride that Jared Goff has been on and kind of, playing for him, so to speak. I know they're all, playing for each other. None of them really has too much postseason success and, all this history they're making, this 2023 version of the Lions. But yeah, I think, you can sense that throughout the Jared Goff redemption story from his teammates, from his coaches, and now the city. I think I saw a clip this morning from the Red Wings game. I don't even know I doubt Jared Goff was even at the game, but the crowd, started chanting Jared Goff, Jared Goff at the hockey game. So, I think the whole city has wrapped their arms around him. And I saw another clip yesterday of Jerry Goff, his dad, driving away with Jared after the game on Sunday, and the crowd, surrounding him and say, "You're the king of Detroit, Jared. You're the king, man." So, I think they've all embraced him, and it's been awesome to see.
It has been. It's been great, and then this will all come down to Sunday night when this one is played. You've been with the Niners for a couple of weeks. What's your feeling on how this thing goes Sunday?
Well, I think the turnovers will be the story of it, because I think we saw the Packers outplayed the Niners, for the better part of those 60 minutes. But the Niners had those 2 picks, and the Packers had a couple picks that were dropped. And ultimately, I think that was the difference in the game. And so I think it'll be the same thing. I mean, the 49ers know that Aaron Glenn defense gives up a lot of big plays. They're 27th in the league in pass defense. And so the Niners know they'll have their opportunities to strike. And I think strike they will. But can that defense, as Dan Campbell has put it, they're willing to give up stuff to take stuff. So can they get those turnovers to stay in the game, to get more possessions? I think that'll be the story, because I think you'll see the 49ers at their best. They're going to light up the scoreboard, but can Detroit get enough possessions off of some turnovers to be able to stay in the game and to make it a shootout? Because I think that's the only way Detroit can win. But in order to do that, they're going to need more possessions. They're going to need those turnovers. Yeah. And if they get them, they have a shot for the upset. If they don't, then I think the 49ers roll the way they have, against several other good teams throughout the year.
Yeah, going to be a fun one to say the least. Enjoy your seat for that one, buddy. Appreciate your time as always. Best to the family.
All right, likewise, fellas. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Absolutely. We'll see you at the Combine. I am certain, my friend, the great Omar Ruiz, NFL Network reporter, joining us on the Twisted Tea Hotline, brought to you by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted. Cleveland. Coming up next, we go around the league, included in that the reality that one of the greatest of all time may be done. We'll get to it coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. OBM, the preferred provider of copiers and document services of the Cleveland Browns. Tackle any size office. Call 216-485-2000. Visit OhioBusinessMachines.com. The Atlanta Falcons hired Raheem Morris yesterday evening to be their new head coach down in Atlanta. They interviewed Bill Belichick twice for the job. They interviewed Mike Vrabel for the job, and instead they go with Raheem Morris. This one came out of nowhere. He was on no list. Was he on that list?
There were no odds. Their odds had been taken off the board
remember
because
Tuesday when we
Belichick.
talked.
Of Belichick. Their odds were taken off, and the Chargers' odds for Harbaugh that was all taken off.
So what do you think happened there?
Rich McKay was able to convince Arthur Blank not to do it. According to all reports, is that Belichick wanted complete and total control, and McKay didn't like that or want that. And Arthur
McKay
Blank
is out of
it.
the football side of it because he's going to now run Blank's foundation or whatever. Like he's not going to be part of the Falcons.
Yeah,
in that sense. And that was thought to be the connection was Belichick and McKay went back somewhere. And there was a connection there that's why there would have been an initial interest.
So this is from Dan Graziano.
Our guy, Danny G.
On ESPN. The question was, why didn't the Falcons hire Bill Belichick? Graziano, and I quote, Multiple sources have said for weeks that Blank, the owner of the Falcons, went into the process wanting Belichick. I think the league and the industry expected that to work out, but there were hurdles that couldn't be cleared. The organizational structure in Atlanta involves Blank and CEO Rich McKay, and a lot of discussions with Belichick centered on the idea of what McKay's role would be if Belichick came to coach the team. So clearly he's got a role in the team.
Yeah.
And how much power and control the various parties would have in the end. Belichick, who was 15 wins shy of breaking Don Shula's record, was seen as a short-term play. So there were some in the Falcons building who were concerned about overhauling things extensively, only to potentially have to do so again in a few years. Blank may have gone in the process wanting Belichick, but also went with an open mind, was willing to listen to the input of others in his organization. All of that, combined with already high opinions of Morris, who was their interim coach, I want to say in 2020, led to this surprise result, and it could leave Belichick without a job in 2024. It's crazy to me that there is not a team that feels like the Eagles. Bo.
The type of places that he would have worked for, those jobs didn't come open. All of the jobs that came open are builds or a guy away from a build.
Atlanta's
right, but they don't have the quarterback.
Yes.
So you're a guy away from a build. Like the Chargers was probably the most turnkey, but they have some cap stuff. And they were always going to go Harbaugh. So, and Harbaugh's 12 years younger than him. So that was the way they were going anywhere. So the job that we assumed he would take if he left New England never came open. The job of where everything's there, you just need somebody to push you over the top. Dallas, Philly, right? Those type of jobs, they never came open.
Well, and my guess is that Howie Roseman would not cede.
No, but
that kind of power. To
you could see a situation where, like, if they would have fired Sirianni and you looked at that roster and say, man, we just need a coach to get us over the edge. Belichick on a 3-year, fine, let's go. Fix the defense, let's go.
I can't believe
Dallas didn't happen. I thought Dallas would happen for sure.
Dak Prescott.
But he said no. So there wasn't the job. This is the crazy part of it. That type of job didn't come open, and now I think it's probably more likely he doesn't ever coach again than that he does. He's 72. Like, it's not going to be in this – the only one in this cycle that – like Washington, but they're not ready to go at all. Like, he'd be in the same – he'd be picking second instead of third with New England. So there would be that. But they already hired the general manager from San Francisco. So they're hiring GM first. He's not going to go to Seattle and follow Pete Carroll. Like, that's not happening.
No.
So that he might never coach again.
I wonder if – do you think – there could be a scenario, let's say like Philly or Dallas gets off to a slow start next year, and they try to bring him in mid-season?
I don't know how can you bring in someone fresh off the street as a coach?
I don't know that he would do that. Like, would he jump in? But I mean, this was the thing. Like, it's impossible for me to wrap my head around the idea he's not going to coach this year. Washington's the only one. I guess theoretically they could make the same play. I have no idea what their cap situation is. Could they make the same play and bring Cousins home?
They could try. I still think Philly and Dallas, until they like kick off a game with McCarthy and Sirianni, that it's still possible. I mean, Jerry Jones could just be like, you know what, let's do it.
Yeah, because that's really this. I mean, what about Buffalo?
They like McDermott,
sorta.
I don't. Does he go there? That feels like that's a closing window.
Yeah. I don't know that he's even worried about.
What about the Jets?
Same ownership that he spurned.
You think Rodgers wants to play under him?
Did Woody own them at that time? Or is that the other ownership? I don't think so. I don't think Woody owned the Jets. I don't think he did. I think he bought them in the 2000s. And I think that's when they brought Rex Ryan in and all that. I think he bought them in the mid-2000s. I could be wrong.
He bought them January of 2000.
Okay. So that wouldn't have been Belichick.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't think you can bring in someone off the street mid-season.
I agree. And I don't think he would sign up for that either, Gibbe.
Yeah. I think the other one that I know it's easy to talk about Belichick, but Mike Vrabel's not going to get another shot, it looks like, in this cycle.
That's stunning to me.
I think so too, but I think the firing of him was stunning. I don't know. I think Mike would like to coach, and I think he's fine going through the process, but I also think because of his age, he can be far more choosy. Mike next year, Ohio State spent millions on that roster. If that thing falls up short, like he would be on a quick plane ride north. He likes his home in Nashville. I think he would be a hot candidate next year anyway. Like I think he'll be fine sitting a year and
just collecting some quiche.
I think he'd be fine.
It's interesting that they view Belichick as maybe a 3-year hire, but they think like Raheem Morris is for sure going to be there in 3 years.
Probably just no, but the other part is cheaper, and also he's not going to need total control.
Right.
Like if you make a mistake on Raheem Morris, you can fire him in 2 years and you're on to the next.
Fire him in a year.
Fire him in a year and you're on to the next if it goes terribly.
Yeah.
Like you hire Belichick.
In what world though do they? I don't understand the idea of not hiring Todd Monken. I really don't understand it. Unless he clearly took the interview, so he wants to be a head coach.
Did he interview in Atlanta? I don't think he interviewed in Atlanta.
He didn't interview in Atlanta, but
the Chargers
I don't
and the
understand
Panthers.
that.
I don't understand because they interviewed 14 people for that job.
Right? How is he not?
How is he not one of them?
Especially with what he did at the University
right up
of
the road
Georgia.
in Athens. How would you be plainly aware of what he could be?
Keenly aware, no doubt.
And the Fields acquisition would be
It's
a
all
layup for him.
Totally.
You run the same stuff they're running in
I
Baltimore.
feel like they do that. They're winning their division.
I agree with you. Yeah, it's wild. The Ravens appear they're going all out for the AFC Championship game. Ray Lewis and Ed Reed will be the legends of the game. Jonathan Ogden, honorary captain. Michael Phelps will deliver the game ball. T-Pain is going to perform
The
at halftime.
Baltimore Bullet.
Oh, my gosh.
It's quite the extravaganza.
That's a lot. Do they still run out to the Omar whistling thing? Do they still do that? When you guys were there this year, did you notice that? Or did they just do that one time? Remember Michael K. Williams who played Omar on The Wire?
Yeah.
When he died, they did the whistle
Yeah.
that he would do like
I think
before they
so.
would come out. Did they
I'm
use that as
pretty sure, yes.
I would think so.
amazing if that happens. That's chilling. That's a lot of studs. That's a lot of powerhouse right
And,
there.
and
Oh, wait a
trust me,
second. Go to the next.
we
I'm
have
getting there.
seen that. Like when Ray Lewis comes out of the tunnel and does his thing, which he
Even
probably
like in his
will do.
50s,
Oh,
they go
he's
nuts.
You're
still-
just
oh,
like,
my God.
what?
Bedlam.
How are we supposed to deal with that?
Yeah.
That's not on the
No.
program for today.
No. That's one of those things where we've done a good job because it's a couple of ownership groups and all of those things. But like Ray Lewis is a Cleveland Brown. Are you kidding me?
Oh man, it would have been nuts.
Can you imagine how popular that dude would have been with 2 Super Bowls?
Yeah.
Jeez. First draft they had was Lewis and Ogden, right? First draft as the
Yes.
Ravens was Lewis and Ogden.
Gross.
It's amazing. I don't think it is all ironic, probably very purposeful, rather, or not an accident, rather, very purposeful, that the Niners divisional round captain was Steve Young, and they used him as the voiceover. They're going to have Joe Montana on hand on
That's
Sunday.
right.
He's the honorary
That's
captain.
right.
The Lions countering with Barry Sanders, so that's as good as it gets.
That's right. They're going. I heard it. Little league, the big leagues.
Bring in Uncle Joe.
Let's
go.
Let's bring in
Joe Leonardo.
I don't know who
Leonardo.
the
Let's bring in
I don't know
Leonardo.
if the Chiefs have an honorary captain.
Patrick Mahomes is their honorary captain.
This guy.
That's it.
Scarlett.
He's going to love it. Like, you kidding me? Mahomes is going to revel in this.
He's going to love that environment.
Oh, my God. Lewis and all of it. He's going to yuck it up.
By the way, the rain in the forecast for that AFC Championship game.
Oh, I'm glad you took the over.
How heavy? Like this stuff that we've been dealing with for 3 days?
I feel like yes.
Misty nonsense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mark Andrews, though, that's incredible.
Back.
Yes, and that I mean, I don't know
You
the
wonder
last time
what
somebody came
Came
back
back
to
in
play
a championship game after being
well,
out.
and Zach Ertz is, I'm guessing,
He's
is
going to try and go, yeah.
go for the Lions.
Yeah, that's true. All right, they have the 20 greatest AFC NFC championship games. This is from Brian Diardo.
It's the off season, kids.
I like it. It's not it's the season. We're still in it.
We're still in the season. We got it right. We have to enjoy that. Well, I have to click on that link though.
Let me reintroduce you to CBSSports.com.
Okay, go
All
ahead.
right, go ahead. Give me the
Great.
trying to think what are the best.
Hold on, let me find the email from
Hold on.
Uno.
Yeah, because you got it. Uno. On CBS Sports, you have to print them because otherwise, because they do all the drop downs, and you can't get to it. It's brutal. All the live
You
video
got it.
players and all that stuff, you can't get it. There's been a lot of good ones.
Yeah, all right. So number 20.
Yep.
2011 AFC Championship, Patriots 23, Ravens 20. Isn't that one when like Billy Cundiff ran on the field and missed the Billy Cundiff. They lost the game 2 plays later when Billy Cundiff missed his game-tying 32-yard field goal. Flacco appeared to throw a game-winning touchdown to Lee Evans, but Evans dropped. Remember Lee Evans from the Bills?
Wisconsin, yeah.
Yeah, dropped the ball. The Ravens lost 2 plays later, and there was something wrong with the timing. Cundiff had to sprint on from the sideline, didn't get set, and he missed that one.
Right.
2008 AFC Championship, Steelers 23, Ravens 14. Pittsburgh's only touchdown that day came on Santonio Holmes' 65-yard catch and run on a pass from Roethlisberger. Their other touchdown was a 40-yard pick six of Joe Flacco.
There you go.
Number 18, 2020, Bucks 31, Pack 26. That's the one where Brady threw the bomb. Brady threw the bomb before half that got Mike Pettin fired.
Oh, that's right.
I enjoyed Mike Pettin.
Yeah, he had many
Where
similar
is
interests.
Pett now?
Johnson's Island.
He is
Good chance.
Yeah.
Maybe at this moment, yeah. But he's a senior consultant. He's the assistant head coach of the Vikings.
There you go.
Great. He was a great dude.
Yeah.
I enjoyed him very much. Number 17, 1999, Rams 11, Bucks 6.
Gross.
Trailing 6-5 with under 5 minutes left, the Rams' explosive offense finally took wing. Kurt Warner fired a laser to Ricky Prohl.
Sure.
Sent them where they would beat the Titans in that classic.
Yeah, because Ricky Prohl was the one that you wanted to have at the top of the list.
Ricky Prohl.
I think he did pretty
Wake
well.
Forest, I believe.
Ricky Prohl was automatic.
Yeah, Ricky
Third
Prohl's
down,
pretty
you
good.
needed 4, get you 5.
They had a squad.
Number 16, 1981 AFC Championship, Bengals 27, Chargers 7.
That's the 40 below zero one.
The Freezer Bowl.
Yep.
Through 2 touchdowns, leading the Bengals their first Super Bowl, which they would lose to Joe Montana.
I'm guessing that's not in there, but continue.
Well, got to give the
Got to give paint the full picture, buddy.
15, 2015 AFC Championship. Don't you think like the fumble? The fumble's got to be top 5.
I would say, yeah.
2015 AFC Championship, Broncos 20, Patriots 18. Manning came out firing. Denver's formidable pass rush hounded Tom Brady. Down 20-18, down 20-12 late in the game. He had a 40-yard completion to Gronk on 4th and 10. 4 plays later, they scored to bring within 2, but they were not able to get on the 2-point attempt. His pass attempt for Gronk was tipped and intercepted by Bradley Roby.
Buckeye.
Former Buckeye. Number 14, 1992, NFC Championship game, Cowboys 30, Niners 20, the changing of the guard game.
I remember that vividly.
The Cowboys dominated Steve Young.
Ya boy.
Number 13, 2013.
Young's fault. It was everybody else's fault on that day.
2013 NFC Championship, Seahawks 23, Niners 17. That was the
That's Crabtree, right? Richard
Crabtree
Sherman.
tipped, picked by Malcolm Smith, who spent some time here with the Cleveland Browns.
That's Sherman.
Yeah.
Talking to Aaron Andrews post.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Spicy.
Very.
Aldon Smith had 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. Navarro Bowman had 14 tackles and a forced fumble. Bobby Wagner, 15 tackles and a pick. Cam Chancellor, 11 tackles and a pick. Those games were loaded.
Those games were loaded. Also amazing how many at-bats the Niners have had. I mean, you went 81 all the way to now. All these different versions of the Niners, but they've been the most consistent franchise over a 40-year period. Yeah.
Yeah, there was the one like when they were trying to change the helmet, Tim Rattay. Like there's some.
Yeah, the Garcia stuff, but then
but Garcia T.O. still made the playoffs
for sure. And
then he made with Alex Smith.
They did, and
Kaepernick.
then Harbaugh got there, and they got Alex Smith and Kaepernick, and then they were right back. They had that little window, but other than that,
they haven't won.
No, they haven't won one in a while, but they've been
95.
a ton. It's a ton of at bats.
You know, they're consistent.
Many different versions.
It's a very good franchise.
Very good. Yep.
All right, number 12, 2014 NFC Championship, Seahawks 28, Packers 22 in overtime. Wasn't that the one that had a botched onside kick?
What was that score?
28-22 in overtime.
Yes.
That's the Matt Hasselbeck. Is that
Seattle?
Matt Hasselbeck. I'll take that one. No.
This game was in that Matt Hasselbeck game. Wasn't that Giants Packers?
No. That's Seahawks. That's Seahawks Packers because he knew him.
That's Holmgren, though.
That's older.
Holmgren.
This is
older.
Russell Wilson.
That's
This
Holmgren.
was Russell Wilson scored. Then they got the onside kick, setting up Marshawn Lynch's go-ahead touchdown run.
Yep.
They forced overtime, and then Wilson hit Jermaine Kearse for 35. Number
Former
11. I bet
Browns
yours is going
corner.
to be
Mine would be up there more.
Up there
That's
more.
that might not have been an NFC.
There was a former Browns
Might have
corner that played for Green Bay that got roasted that day. What was his name?
former Browns.
Tremont Williams is his name.
Tremont Williams. Yeah.
Uno.
Very good.
Uno.
Encyclopedia.
2007 NFC Championship, 23-20, Giants over the Packers in overtime. That was the game Sub-Zero where Tom Coughlin's face froze.
Yep.
Yep. Burris won that one.
A lot of recency bias, I would say here. There's a lot in the 2000s.
But that's in the let's get in the top 10 though.
All right, let's go.
Top 10. Number 10.
Moving on to number 9.
Number 9.
On to number 9.
If you can see if you can figure out what number 10 was.
Stupid horse face.
There it is.
On to number 9.
All right. 2009 NFC Championship. Saints 31, Vikings 28 in overtime. Classic championship game. Neither team ever led by more than 7. The score was tied on 4 different occasions. The Vikings followed Adrian Peterson's third touchdown that tied the game, were in position to win it after advancing the Saints' 38-yard line with 19 seconds left. But in what would be his final pass of the game, Favre's third down pass intended for City Rice was intercepted by Tracy Porter, forcing overtime.
We have played that radio call.
Oh, man.
That's their guy going,
That's the guy.
what is he doing? He's an idiot. Who does
man.
that?
That's right.
Just crucifying him.
Garrett Hartley would hit the game winner. New Orleans would go on to defeat the Colts in the Super Bowl on a Terry Porter pick 6. So Porter picks Favre off, gets a pick 6 on Peyton Manning in the next Super Bowl. That's a pretty good 2-game run.
That's the onside kick.
Hank Basket.
That flipped it. The Saints onside kicked it.
Off a Hank Basket.
Yeah, because the Colts were winning, and then they opened the second half with the onside kick.
Number 8, 1998 NFC Championship, Falcons 30, Vikings 27. Gary Anderson, who did not miss a field goal during the regular season, missed a 38-yarder with 2 minutes left. Falcons capitalized on the miss. Chandler hit Terrence Mathis for the game-tying touchdown with 57 seconds in regulation. After winning the coin toss, Minnesota was forced to punt after Randall Cunningham's third down pass to rookie sensation Randy Moss fell incomplete. They exchanged punts before finally couple of runs set up Morton Anderson, who hit from 38 yards out. The Falcons' luck ran out when they faced the Broncos. Number 7, 2021 AFC Championship, Bengals Chiefs overtime. That's going to be good. I bet you could get the Chiefs. Patriots could be here from like 19, was it maybe? 1990, number 6, 1995 AFC Championship game, Steelers 20, Colts 16. That's where they stopped the fumble, right?
That's too high.
Oh, no, that's 95.
Though.
That's
too
95.
high. That's too high. That's Neil O'Donnell.
That's Neil O'Donnell. Hit
Probably
Andre
against
Hastings.
Harbaugh's quarterback in the Colts probably at that time.
Yep.
Yeah, that's too high for that one. That's a lot of those are forgettable teams.
The ball, yeah.
That's too high.
Agreed. Number 5, 1990 NFC Championship, Giants 15, Niners 13.
I remember this.
This is when they
vividly.
knocked Joe Montana out of the
Jim
game.
Burt and
Leonard Marshall
broke him in half.
Broke him in half, knocked him out. They lose. And the famous call was by Pat Summerall, there will be no three-peat.
Was that the one they're loading him into an ambulance and he's got sunglasses on?
I don't remember the sunglasses part of it, but I remember Marshall and Burt breaking him in half.
I'm fairly confident. And there was like
that was the last game he ever
500 members of the
playoff
media
game
gathered
with the
around
Niners.
this ambulance, and they're loading him in.
Yeah.
Number 4, 1986 AFC Championship, Broncos 23, Browns 20 in overtime.
Yeah, I know.
He's well aware. We all know. Yeah.
The drive. So the fumble was number 10, the drive number 4. Number 3, here it is. 2006 AFC Championship. This is a great game. Colts 38, Patriots 34.
This one was awesome.
Awesome.
Yep. That was great.
Threw an interception and to fellow Michigan man Marlon Jackson. Brady threw a game-ending interception. I didn't remember that. Colts would go on to win their lone Super Bowl with Manning under center. You'd win 2 more AFC title games against the Patriots later on. All right, now that's number 3. So where's the fumble? Not list. Was that not an AFC Championship game? Not the fumble. You know what I'm talking. The tuck rule.
Yeah, that's Raiders and Patriots. You're talking about the
blizzard.
The Brady tuck. Yeah, the blizzard. Vinatieri kicks the winner. That's a championship game.
2001 divisional playoff.
Oh,
game
was it
for
really?
The tuck rule game.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Good job, Uno.
2018 AFC Championship, Patriots 37, Chiefs 31. That's the one we were talking about where he hit Gronk right at the end.
Yep.
Man, unbelievable. And then number 1, NFC Championship, 49ers 28, Cowboys 27, the catch.
Yeah.
Number 1.
There's some recency bias in that. I felt like there were more in the NFC side of things.
And some classics.
There were some classics that were in there for sure.
Yeah, there's only one. Yeah,
that's not enough. All right, we'll do our scores on this one coming up next. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN.
And the fact of the day.
That's true. Plan for this season includes buying or selling a home. Howard Hanna has the answer, delivering a winning strategy for breaking down the game of real estate. The market leaders in Northeast Ohio. More buyers and sellers trust Howard Hanna as their winning home team. Visit howardhanna.com/go Browns today. You may be interested to know the Griff fact of the day is Ohio State's overtime victory Sunday over Iowa's most watched women's college basketball game in 14 years, reached a peak of 3.9 million viewers in overtime across NBC and Peacock.
It's incredible.
Caitlin Clark, man.
It's incredible.
Yeah, she's that
ESPN,
was a great game.
We were talking about it earlier. ESPN had a women's college game day last night from LSU, South Carolina.
Yeah, so defending national
crazy.
champion in South Carolina, the one at the year before.
Lobo. She
No.
was on it, wasn't she? Rebecca Lobo?
She played last night.
No,
At
she was
age
on
52?
that. She was on
the show.
The show.
Oh,
That game
She was-
day, it was
she was
like
calling-
three. It was like three big time former college players. I know she played for UConn a long time ago.
You're like, no,
I know
no,
who Rebecca
Nathan.
Lobo.
She's
She was
56.
on that. She was on that.
It's an Angel Reese.
Countdown.
Would have been on that show. Yeah, probably. So it's in the middle of an incredible boom, and this is also the time of the year that ESPN does its agenda setting when they start showing that because they have the tournament and they're telling you it's important.
It's going to be here.
By the way,
broadcasting.
total sidebar, Final Four is here.
Here.
That'd be a fun ticket, man. It'll be good if Iowa can get there. South Carolina's good. Ohio State's really good this year. Be a fun ticket. All right, we ready?
Yeah.
Little
We're ready.
scores. Little
Last week, 3-1, 2-2.
Sad.
Good news. So we're both 68 games over 500 now.
Oh, we're combining them all. We're combining the regular season
Yeah.
and the playoffs. Okay,
We're
very
running
good,
it through.
very good. Run it all the way through.
Might as well.
The good news is we still have a chance to get over 70 games over, but we have to go 3-0 the final 3 games. The better news is the worst we could be at the end of the season is 65 games over 500 each.
Yeah, I've been on a real cold snap in the playoffs. It's
No,
been
you haven't.
yeah 2-2, and I think the
You were-
week before we both went 1-3.
We both went 2-4 the first week.
Yeah, so not good.
Total
And then-
sidebar, Paulus. We're just going to go to 53 and wrap here.
There you go, Nick.
There we go. This is so much more.
Sounds good.
This
Yep.
is actually so
It's
much
happening
more.
right
This
now.
is,
I
it's
knew
happening.
Nick was getting antsy. He's
Yeah,
looking at
worried.
the clock.
I know
He's like,
looking.
we got to get
gotta
another
break.
break.
We got to
in
get out of
here.
here. All right. Well, we solved that now, so we have 3 minutes to stretch our legs.
We do.
All right. Go ahead.
To the AFC, Baltimore, Maryland, Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock kick. Nance, Romo, Tracy, Jay Feely, 3 out of those 4. Awesome. Can't wait to hear.
Yep.
One.
Yeah, boy. Yep,
Baltimore
boy. Give it.
playing host to Kansas City. Zigura. All right, hot take.
I mean, it feels. I'm not. I think I'm going with the dogs on both of these games. Ultimately, when it all comes down to it, but if it was 2.5, I just feel like I could see this one being a Justin Tucker walk-off field goal, and that sends the kids home happy in Kansas City. Or I could see Kansas City winning outright. So therefore, Chiefs 27, Ravens 30.
Same. I'm not doing it against him again. I did it last week.
You did it last
I'm
week.
done. I'm not doing it. Like if it does feel kind of like whoever has it last wins, but if it ends up in his hands, they'll go score.
Yes.
They'll go score.
To Sunday early evening.
Yep.
We like early evening.
Love this.
6:30
Love this.
p.m.
It's a great schedule.
Fox.
Would you guys rather these be one Saturday, one Sunday, or you like them back to back?
I like Sunday. I
All
like
Sunday?
Championship Sunday. I
would've
grew up
liked
on
a
that way.
Saturday.
I like.
Sunday
would've
been great.
You like which
One of each would have been great.
I like one Saturday one because it's a big. It's 7 hours.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
locked
all
in,
in.
and I
Told the
that's
wife.
fatiguing.
Done by 3
I
o'clock.
would have
with
loved
anything we need to get done.
I would have loved a Saturday 6:30, Sunday 6:30. Would have been
Great.
money. I would have loved that. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
To the NFC Championship
Let's
and the
have a
right
watch,
to go to
Sophia.
Vegas to take on the winner of Chiefs-Ravens. It is Detroit City on the road for the first time in these playoffs.
90.
Yeah.
Visiting Santa Clara to take on the San Francisco 49ers. Bishop.
I just love the hook in this, and it's San Francisco's going to win, but I just think it'll be competitive. I don't think they're running away from anybody. The Debo shoulder, and I think Detroit will play with a lot of guts. I like San Francisco winning a close one, 24-17.
Nate, Joe Montana's there. We can't be stopped. Nate,
Rocket
Niners by $1 billion. Let's go.
Oh my gosh,
1 minute. 1
rocket
minute.
ship Pedro.
Let's go.
Oh my gosh, there you go. All right, very good.
I think these are both very. I think you're going to find 50-50. Like Vegas has done a very good job on these two games. There are compelling reasons to take both
I think
of
the
these.
numbers are right where they ought to be for both.
By the way, I see I see 7 is no hook.
Well, I don't.
FYI,
I see 0.5.
Well, things have changed.
So there you go. Elk and Elk, serious injuries, serious lawyers. Call 1-800-ELK Ohio for a free case for you. Elk and Elk's a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. The next level is next. We're back Monday. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.